Every time I watch the news, people around the world are being upended from their homes. Hurricanes, floods, and fires are ravaging cities and causing thousands of people to lose everything they've worked so hard for. And it always gets me wondering the same thing. What if that happened to me? How would I feel if I lost all my worldly possessions? How would you feel? Many of us don't think about this question because we're too busy working jobs that some of us don't even like, just so we can pay for things we don't need, leaving us unhappy, unsatisfied, and completely unaware of how consumer culture is changing our values and our lives. We place so much significance on the stuff we own and the status we think it gives us that we forget what values we actually hold dear. And in the end, the things you own end up owning you. Let me start by saying I'm all for consumer culture. And this applies to some people more than others. But for the last few decades, our consumption has exploded into something else. And where we once bought for utility, we now buy for identity. Advertising is no longer driven by the features of a product, but instead by the emotions, identity, and ideals that we associate with that product. When was the last time you saw Coca-Cola sell just cola and not happiness in a bottle? Or Nike sell shoes and not a controversial ideal, which I still buy into every year. Because, well, just do it. The truth is, some of us are being sold so heavily into the consumerism cycle that we don't even realize what's happening, just because somewhere along the line, we learnt that's what we're supposed to do: earn money, acquire stuff. And it's this constant pursuit of material desires that leaves us feeling empty and always wanting more, because chasing external values outside of ourselves, like cars, houses, jobs, and all the other things we value for recognition from others, will never make us whole. When you go out and buy new clothes, or a new handbag, or a new watch, or a new anything, what you're often trying to buy into is the status and clout that comes with it, so that others see us the way we see ourselves. It becomes a part of your identity, which some of us falsely believe equates to success and happiness, and why wouldn't we? Celebrities peddle products and overconsumption as symbols of status and values to aspire to, and some of us blindly follow their lead believing it brings the same level of respect and achievement. Everywhere we look, something or someone is trying to sell us stuff we don't need, so we can show others we're something we probably aren't. It's like Kanye said, things we buy to cover up what's inside, they made us hate ourselves and love their wealth. We always hear the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. But really, that's what consumer culture teaches us to do. Love their wealth and everything it can buy. We've created a world where social status is no longer determined by our virtue, but by the clothes we wear, the car we drive, and the house we live in. It's led many of us to believe that our happiness is determined by what we own and how we look in the eyes of others, instead of our character and how we treat one another. So, we work more to buy more, to consume more, and the vicious cycle repeats over and over until we break out of it. I believe the ancient Greek philosopher Epicurus got it right in that to make someone happy, add not to their riches, but take from their desires. When we place so much importance on material goods, not only do we deal with the stress of trying to attain it, but if we succeed, we deal with the stress of trying not to lose it. I guess it makes sense that the more we have to lose, and the less we have to worry about. What's also funny to me is when we manage to acquire that new thing, although we get instant gratification, the feeling is often fleeting, because what's truly fulfilling to us is never the trophy at the end of the race. It's the work it takes to get there. That's where we find satisfaction, that's where we find happiness, that's where we find internal values that make us feel whole. I'm not saying to stop buying nice things, but we shouldn't place too much value on them so they don't define us. Then maybe we'll take a minimalist approach of less is more and discover what really matters to us. They say money can't buy happiness, because happiness has nothing to do with money or possessions, and he who knows he has enough will always have enough. The sooner we realize that external values like obtaining more and more stuff leaves us feeling more and more empty, the sooner we'll find internal values that make us feel whole. And if we're to believe the odds of our existence in this universe are 1 in 10,000 trillion, then maybe it's time we stop trying to buy happiness and start trying to experience it. Or not. Whatever makes you happy.